We're back in the concept lab with Global Political Order 2, and in this learning session I'm gonna give you an idea of how I measure capabilities. So if you remember in Global Political Order 1, we saw the social hierarchy of political entities, and in the top echelons there we saw that they had significant capabilities. There were other factors that determined why they were where they were situated, and we saw also that there were movers. Russia was moving into the rank of the great powers, and due to their interests being now somewhat contemplated by the other actors in a different way than it had been before. So and also your position on the globe is important for your placing in the social hierarchy, but a very significant element of where you are in the social hierarchy of states in the global political order. In the geopolitical structure, you are placed where you are mainly due to your power projection. And you imagine all political entities, they project power towards each other, to the boundary of their designated territories and beyond. You can get this intuition, So there will be intersecting lines from the centers of the political entities, in a grid there, and that will be your intuition of the level of structural analysis. So we're just going into the structure, looking at the power projection. The efficacy of your power projection is in Clausewitz understood in Kantian terms. So it's like, what can you do and what do you want? It's like the capabilities. What is your ability to project power? And also very important is for how long can you sustain the will to project power. Here we're looking at, in the structure and analysis, we're simply taking out of the equation the concrete social relations between entities, and we're just looking at the capabilities relative to each other. And I have a rule of thumb that is that I also used for teaching in the university, on the master's level and PhD levels in global politics. It's a nice one to have. This is an equation here that we are looking at. Capabilities equals military budget divided with security apparatus plus battle-hardened troops. So this is a funny one, and you see here plus time. So if time is 0, then these parts of the equations they are none of your concern. The immediate, what are the troops that you placed on the border and then how can they, we saw that recently. We saw an invasion by the Russian Federation into the designated territory of Ukraine in February 24, 2022. And there you see that, there was actually a structural relation between the two. The one being a minor regional power, the other being a major regional power. It has since then actually improved its social status. the one actually by engaging here and this analysis will also reveal that how on the structural level we can understand these sorts of events. Just to give you a good example here that you may all have in recent memory, but you see here, yeah. So it's like it's made. The equation is made like this: that when you're just looking at the situation, but if you are thinking in 2 years terms, now the war is already 2 years in, yeah, and then you can see factors like, are you self-sufficient with everything you need for building up your capabilities? What about your internal stability? How corrupt is your system? Yeah, what is actually your mode of production, level of production? How can you, and your technology level here. Yeah, so all these factors get in as conflicts drag out or as tension drag out. We come in a minute also to the balance between the USA and China, the structural balance there, and then it's like if we take that time is 10 years, then it depends very much. What are your capabilities depends very much on your ability to build up your forces and enhance your capabilities. But just to walk you through it slowly here. So it's like, why is it built like this? So it's military budget. That's usually in billions of dollars. So when you go and find that number somewhere on the internet, you will write military budget, countries, and then you get a list of countries by military budget. Yeah. In your search, and you find some number, and it's usually measured in billions of dollars. And because we are dividing a number that it is in billions with a number, so the security apparatus is in millions. So it's like, that's why I multiply here with 0.001. You see, it's like it's not exactly with the precision of atomic science that we are doing this. It's like a macro thing compared to an atom. Yeah, we're talking about global political order. It's actually of a different magnitude, and we are measuring here with some scientific accuracy here, but it's just a way to get the two numbers to add up. And when I figure out the security apparatus, I measure the whole security apparatus, and it's actually like, if you have a large security apparatus, this security apparatus most of it will really be bound on securing your internal coherence. So ensuring what Waltz called or Waltz sixth criterion. Maybe it's me who calls it that. Yeah, but Waltz has the father of structural realism has these criteria. Yeah, and it's actually but it's quite important, your internal cohesion. And if you have a large security apparatus, it indicates that actually you are having a low level technology. It can also be quite advanced police work, but it's like it's internal policing. Yeah, so it's building up a huge expeditionary force. It will show as in the analysis because of your military budget. But here it's very important to see that your actual ability to get something out of a military expedition whether it be offensive or defensive, is the number of troops that are working as a military machine, well trained with the equipment that it has, able to work maybe with a combination of forces, so both artillery and infantry. And then you can get even like air power and satellites, and a modern theater is very complex nowadays. We have this drone terror balance and all sorts of things, and it's like troops that are proven in battle and has survived and has become, maybe you know that from gaming also, it's like when you get these elite units with a lot of experience points, it's difficult to to get them to yeah, and they are nice to have because they also survive and better, and it's like troops who have no training is like just picked off the streets of Kiev and then put into a van and in a jersey and then go to the front. It's like the time before they get killed or severely injured is relatively short. So it's like yeah, this is what you want to have. Battle-hardened troops. This is really deterring. Yeah, it's like I remember in the 1999 we were talking about we needed to put boots on the ground against Serbia, because there was this idea that NATO should attack Serbia, and then it was like obvious that you didn't want to do that because the Serbian army they'd just been going through 8 years of civil war, and they were tough, and in the end it was chosen that they should be bombed into submission. Yeah, that's a whole different story. But it's just battle-hardened troops. These are important. And I multiply again with a factor in order to get the numbers to. Should I say a little bit about this? So it's like if we're looking at the long term, self-sufficiency is important. Yeah. So it's like if you are vulnerable as a political entity to, you need oil or you need ore or something, yeah, in order to, you have some there are some strategic resources that you may not be able to sustain the influx of into your economy. Then this can be a real concern for you, and in an embargo it will be, yeah, maybe problematic for you with this. The whole Pearl Harbor situation was actually also very much surrounding this idea of oil, and the Japanese needed also resources and were getting into conflict with the USA back then. Yeah. Anyway, stability. Right. You can watch the stability report. This is many conflicts, interstate conflicts and wars end by one entity falling apart. So, and there, yeah, production, you get into how well can you produce the stuff that you need. Of course, fast missiles that hit their target. They can be very expensive, but they can also be very efficient. Nowadays, we're talking about fifth generation aircraft. The Turks have just presented also one of these, and you have the F-35 discussion and the Su-57, Su-57. Yeah, these aircraft are beginning to enter also the equation. Very expensive, but apparently also when you get them integrated into your army and can begin to use them, very valuable for your capabilities. Right. There are some conditions here: population size, logistics, very, very important. But now I'm just gonna walk you through just to see how fast can you actually make the structural analysis. This example here, yeah. I take first the USA, yeah, the superpower, yeah. So it's so just find the number 916. It said $1 billion a year they use on military. So this is the superpower, yeah. It has global reach and of its capabilities, and one must also say that this number is unprecedented somehow also in the history of civilization. But yeah, should not underestimate the huge empires of the classical era that also used relatively substantive amount of their gross domestic products on military. But yeah, we see here. And then I divide with what is this? Yeah, just gonna put a parenthesis here, so it's like. Then I divide with the total security apparatus. So they have some men in uniform, some reserves, and they have also, eventually some paramilitary units. The USA actually, they in the statistics I used, they were listed as having 0, but then they have also an internal security apparatus, pretty substantive, especially in this after the turn of the millennium. It's been so they have a lot of civil servants that are working with security, and there I divide that number up there, and then they have quite a few soldiers also that can still be used that has been deployed in Iraq and Afghanistan, and are somewhat battle hardened. You could construct this number in different ways with the battle hardened troops, but it's of course also a matter of the theater. It's very difficult, different thing to, and very difficult of course also to fight asymmetric. But it's actually not the same as fighting a symmetric Clausewitzian conflict. So, yeah, I estimated that to being around 20,000 troops that could be efficiently deployed, for instance, on the side of Ukraine against Russia. If the USA should choose to do that, they would have some forces for such an expedition. Anyway, I come up with this number in the end, 246.05, and yeah, it's of course quite arbitrary, because you see, it's all about a discussion of what we put into the factors of calculating. And also when in Global Political Order 1, I also alluded to that. For instance, the placing of the. It's all about definition. Yeah, the placing in the social hierarchy is about definition. Capabilities, how we calculate. It's about definitions. But you should think about your definitions and make them somewhat consistent. Yeah, and here you can see the USA related to the great power here, EU 67.79. Yeah, because not very many battle-hardened troops. Of course, this will alter after a year of conflict. The EU will get a lot more battle-hardened troops if they went directly against Russia, for instance, as they seem inclined to do. But I don't think they actually want to. The EU, yeah, we talked about it already. It's a funny conglomerate of entities that is amounts to, because you see, just from Germany to Spain, for just the six largest military budgets, they add up to 300 around 300 billion dollars in military budget, and if we take all of them, there will be more than 400. So it's like they have huge budgets, yeah, and in the end, they add up to being a substantive capabilities. But yeah, their will to fight and their internal cohesion and their the EU is a special entity, yeah, and always good to get into these discussions. Like you remember maybe from when you did physics in high school. It's always about discussing what is the sources of error in your calculation and in the way that you conduct the experiment. Yeah, it's like, this is what is important here. It's like constant becoming aware. So we're just making the structural analysis to get curious. Yeah, and then we will start, of course, to go deeper, and in the concrete analysis, things can look very much different. We see here China, substantive power, yeah, great power, definitely being considerate by its surroundings and the other players in the system when you are planning your foreign policy and your security arrangements. So yeah, but to give you a little treat here, I think. How does this calculation look when we get into the Russia-Ukrainian conflict here? Yeah. So let me walk you through that. So we have here Russia here, and you see battle-hardened troops, 150,000. Yeah, so they have been at it for a few years now, and they have lost a lot of personnel, but have mobilized, and this number is continuously growing. So they are going to end up, when this conflict is over, with quite substantive power projection, because this is a substantial number. 150,000, it's a lot. Yeah. And also when we look at factors like autarky and stability, you can see the political stability report on Russia, that Russia is quite stable, and also in terms of production, military-industrial complex is working well for them. They've always been pretty good at rocket science and mathematics over there, so it's like, this is great power in the making. But then just look at this minor regional power here, how it's been boosted. Yeah, so its military budget has been boosted by NATO. So NATO's just pouring money into the USA, but also the EU. It's like pouring money into, so it's like boosting the military budget. And yeah, the security apparatus is does almost not suffice in keeping together the country, and the Russian-speaking and also we could say Russian-inclined part of the population that live in oblasts that are it's difficult for to maintain internal coherence for the Ukraine. Also, it has quite a deal of battle-hardened troops, but right now the strategy by the Russians has been to bog down their elite units, and they have actually succeeded in bogging down the elite units of the Ukraine. So this number is going drastically down at the moment. So when we look at the structural analysis for 2024, we shall not be surprised that although the military budget is still boosted, then this number could be halved or at least substantially. So we can see that this is a collapse of an entity. And we will see that because it is now concretely, strategically in a bind where all its battle-hardened troops are being subject to area bombardment and artillery, and deployed in a way that they are biting against a war when they try to improve their positions. So this is yeah. So just to sum up this example here, yeah, note how Ukraine, a minor regional power, is balancing Russia structurally in 2023. Yeah, that's interesting. And you see here again, it's because it has powerful friends. Can be nice to have. Concretely, though, Ukraine is losing since Kiev's forces are outgunned and worn down. Yeah, so it's like material, men, morals. These key factors in the concrete analysis. This is like the Ukraine is down to having material, some material. Actually shortage of material, but some material, but manpower is really lacking, and yeah, as I said, bogged down in bad positions strategically, but also tactically. The positions they are losing their positions so on the battlefield. So it's like, and yeah, there has been where the Russians, they send new people to the front, they rest there, they have an enormous mobilization, and this is working for them. The opposing troops are almost always in some kind of deployment and never get rest, and morals are really bad. They're simply being pushed, constantly pushed. Yeah. So when the one soldier talks to the other, it's like about yeah. We get these fab bombs, poof, and then afterwards we experience artillery, and all of a sudden there is just a wave of stormtroopers coming. Yeah, this is a common experience, and when this experience gets like overall, then it's difficult to keep morale, and you need special ideological nationalism or something like this to uphold your morale. Is important here, yeah, of course. Note that the war unfolds. Note that as the war unfolds, the structural assessment can change rapidly. Yeah, so already next year this can be halved. Yeah, And this is because this is actually a boosted entity. In June 2024, Kiev has engaged all its elite forces in a desperate battle to keep the front from being penetrated. Yeah, and that is actually a crucial point in the analysis, as I had already mentioned twice. Yeah, and you see the balance of battle-hardened troops here is shifting here. So if this gets down to 50 and this gets to 200, yeah, 200,000 versus 50, yeah, then you can do the math. Yeah, right. That is just a glimpse into how I do the structural analysis. And yeah, I really like these rules of thumb, where you can, because yeah, if you're employed somewhere, for instance, you should imagine, yeah, then your superior officer calls you and says, yeah, we want an analysis, something happened way down in Africa last night, give us a briefing at 9 o'clock, and then you have only 5-6 hours, yeah, from he wakes you up at 3 a.m. till to conduct your analysis, and then you want to do a couple of policy analysis and the structural analysis, just to figure out what's the name of the game, and then you can, yeah, in this way, be somewhat prepared for your morning meeting. But I mean, here it's like you get a first glimpse, and then you can begin to form hypotheses, and then you can begin to analyze and get deeper down. But these rules of thumb, they can give you a quick idea about what is the structural balance, and then lead you on to what is it that you want to know, and then you can get further with the concrete analysis and get more information and some knowledge out of this. Yeah. Right. So yeah, this is the capability part of it. The next session, I want to go back to the China USA relationship, and to describe some things with rivalry and interdependencies and these things taking point of departure in the top of the social hierarchy. But I hope you get something out of this, and yeah, there's a lot of discussion of how to make these calculations. So please bombard me if you have different ideas, and subscribe to the channel if you like this, getting some more knowledge about how do we do these things, and if you have other ideas, then you should let me know. So, but yeah, I'll see you on the next one.